Welcome, dear fans and viewers, to a world where fear reigns supreme, where evil spirits dance with terror and the unknown whispers your name. Welcome to Dark Tales. Tonight we embark on a journey into the abyss of human experience, exploring the true chilling stories that have haunted generations. Stories murmured in quiet corners, stories that send shivers down your spine and evoke a haunting sense of the supernatural lurking just beyond your sight. We've researched the dark web corners of the internet, unearthed the most bone-chilling true events and polished them to a terrifying sheen just for you. So dim the lights, lock your doors and prepare yourself, because tonight we're diving headfirst into the top 3 terrifying, scary stories. Are you brave enough to face the darkness? There's only one way to find out. Our first story takes us to the outskirts of a forgotten old town, where a crumbling mansion stands as a testament to a dark and troubled past. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stare out blankly, and the wind whistles through its decaying timbers, whispering misfortune of unspeakable horrors. Locals speak of the mansion with a mix of fear and morbid fascination. It's said that a wealthy plantation owner and his family were driven mad by the lingering spirits of the slaves he had brutally massacred in the past. Their lives were consumed from within by an insidious evil that had seeped into their existence. The mansion, now abandoned and shrouded in an eerie silence, stands as a beacon for the supernatural, a magnet for those seeking a glimpse into the abyss. But be warned, for some secrets are better left buried deep into the graveyard, because within those crumbling walls, something wicked still stirs, its malevolent presence felt by all who dare to cross the threshold. One fateful night, a group of teenagers' friends and their curiosity piqued by the local stories, decided to explore the abandoned mansion. Armed with flashlights, video cameras, and youthful bravado, they stepped across the threshold, unaware of the horrors that awaited them. As they ventured deeper into the mansion's dimly lit interior, the air grew oppressive, laden with the stench of decay and the eerie sensation of the enslaved soul's eyes fixed upon them. The temperature plummeted, sending shivers down their spines as a cold, unseen hand seemed to grip their hearts. The silence was broken only by the sound of their own footsteps echoing through the empty halls, each step amplifying their growing unease. Little did they know they were not alone, for something sinister lurked in those shadows, its presence growing stronger with each fearful breath they take. As they pushed further into the mansion's depths, one of the friends, a young woman named Zora, felt an icy breath on the back of her neck. She turned quickly, but there was nothing there, only the oppressive darkness and the feeling of being watched. Unsettling whispers seemed to emanate from the shadows, whispering her name, beckoning her deeper into the mansion's clutches. A sense of dread washed over her, cold and suffocating, as if an unseen entity was trying to claw its way into her soul. Panic began to set in, spreading through the group like wildfire. They wanted to turn back to escape the suffocating darkness of the mansion, but something held them captive, an unseen force of evil that seemed to toy with their terror. They were trapped, ensnared in a web of fear spun by the malevolent entity that called the mansion its home. Suddenly the sound of disembodied evil laughter echoed through the halls, bouncing off the walls, each chilling cackle sending a fresh wave of terror through their veins. The laughter seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, mocking their fear, feeding on their very existence. One of the friends, a young man named Zach, cried out, his voice trembling with fear. He swore he saw a shadowy figure standing at the end of the hallway, its eyes glowing an eerie black in the darkness. The laughter intensified, swirling around them like a vortex of madness, threatening to consume them entirely. Their hearts pounded in their chests, their breaths coming in short, panicked gasps. They were no longer in control, their fate resting in the hands of the unseen spirits that toyed with them from the shadows. Driven to the brink by terror, the group turned and fled, their fear lending them a burst of speed as they stumbled through the dark corridors, desperate to escape the clutches of the haunted slave mansion. But the evil spirits wasn't finished with them yet. As they ran, doors slammed shut behind them, blocking their escape, and unseen hands tugged at their clothes, pulling them back into the darkness. Finally, they burst out of the mansion and into the cool night air, gasping for breath, their hearts still pounding in their chests. They didn't stop running until they were far away from the old abandoned plantation, its looming silhouette a haunting reminder of the horrors they had witnessed. They had escaped with their lives, but they would never be the same. The memory of that night, of the terror that gripped them, would forever haunt their dreams. Our next story takes us from the decaying halls of a haunted mansion to the confines of a seemingly ordinary antique shop, a place where forgotten relics whisper forgotten stories. It is a story of vanity, obsession, and the terrifying consequences of tampering with forces beyond our understanding. At the heart of this story lies a beautiful antique mirror, its silvered surface tarnished with age, its ornate frame whispering tales of a medieval era. The mirror, once cherished by a wealthy socialite, now sat draped in dust and shadows, its true essence concealed beneath a deceptive allure. Unbeknownst to the antique dealer who now owned it, the mirror served as a portal, a gateway to a realm where spirits trapped between worlds lingered, their tormented souls seeking solace or perhaps revenge. And as we all know, some reflections are best left undisturbed. One evening, a young woman named Tiona wandered into the antique shop, drawn to the glimmering allure of the old mirror. Tiona, captivated by its antique charm, saw in its reflection not the anxieties of her own life, but the promise of a medieval era, a world of elegance and mystery. She purchased the mirror without hesitation, unaware of the evilness that lay dormant within its depths. She brought it home, eager to display her new treasure, completely oblivious to the watchful presence that had just entered her home. As Tiona settled the mirror into its new place on her bedroom wall, she caught a flicker of movement in its reflection. A fleeting glimpse of a face, pale and gaunt, with eyes that seemed to pierce through her soul. But when she turned to face the room, there was nothing there. Only the sound of her own heart pounding in her chest, a frantic rhythm of fear echoing in the silence. As the days turned into nights, Tiona couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Every time she gazed into the mirror, a chill traced its way down her back, as though an unseen presence lingered just behind her, its icy breath grazing her skin. Objects in her apartment began to shift as if manipulated by an invisible force. Doors slammed shut autonomously. Lights flickered and extinguished, and whispers echoed from the shadows, calling her name and teasing her escalating dread. She tried to rationalize the strange occurrences, blaming drafts, faulty wiring, anything but the terrifying truth that was becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. But deep down, a primal fear began to blossom in her soul. Once a source of fascination, the mirror now filled her with dread, its presence a haunting reminder of the darkness that had infiltrated her life. One night, Tiona awoke to the sound of her own scream. She sat up, her heart racing, breath caught in her throat. Her eyes landed on the mirror and terror crashed over her. A contorted figure with eyes ablaze with malice stared back. It reached out, skeletal fingers scraping the glass. Paralyzed, she watched its face twist into a grotesque grin. The room's temperature plummeted, air thick with mustiness. She found herself ensnared, helpless against the malevolent entity. Just when Tiana thought the entity would break free from its glassy prison, a sudden realization washed over her. The face staring back at her, contorted in a mask of fear and desperation, wasn't trying to escape into her world. It was begging her to help it escape from the prison of the mirror itself. Years of research into the paranormal had taught Tiana that sometimes the spirits we perceive as malicious are simply misunderstood. Imbued with newfound courage, Tiana approached the mirror, undaunted by the bone-chilling cold radiating from its surface. She reached out, her hand trembling, and pressed her palm against the freezing glass. And in that instant, the horrifying visage in the mirror shattered, replaced by a reflection of Tiana's own terrified face, the antique shop, and a fleeting glimpse of the spirit, finally free. Our final tale takes us deep into the heart of darkness, where fear itself takes a physical form. This isn't a story of ghosts or specters, but something far more real, far more terrifying. This, my friends, is the story of the Night Stalker. It begins in a small, quiet town, much like your own, the kind of place where everyone knows their neighbors, where doors are left unlocked, and the biggest worry is what's for dinner. But this peaceful facade hid a sinister secret, a predator lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The first victim was a young woman, Sarah, living alone on the outskirts of town. She dismissed the strange noises and flickering lights as an old building settling. Little did she know those were signs of a predator stalking its prey. One night, Sarah awoke to a soft creak outside her bedroom door. Her heart pounded, instincts screaming to stay quiet. Slowly, she reached for her phone, the screen illuminating her face. She saw a fleeting shadow figure, a flicker of movement outside her door. News of Sarah's disappearance spread through the town like wildfire, transforming the once peaceful community into a hotbed of fear and suspicion. The authorities, initially dismissive, now faced mounting pressure as more reports of strange occurrences and near encounters surfaced. Despite increased patrols and a town on high alert, the Night Stalker remained elusive, striking with chilling unpredictability. His reign of terror continued, each incident more brazen than the last, each one pushing the town further into the grip of fear. Families barricaded themselves indoors, afraid to venture out after dark. The once vibrant streets were now deserted, the silence broken only by the sound of police sirens and the whispers of terrified residents. The Night Stalker had become a nightmare made flesh, a constant threat lurking in the shadows, a chilling reminder that nowhere was safe. As weeks turned into months, the trail of the Night Stalker seemed to never come to an end. The townspeople dared to hope the nightmare was over, but Detective Freeman knew better. He spent countless hours on every detail, determined to bring the Night Stalker to justice. His obsession consumed him, driving him to exhaustion. One night he noticed something peculiar in security footage, a fleeting glimpse, a figure melting into the darkness. He had seen that movement before. Following this lead, Detective Freeman discovered a network of underground tunnels, remnants of the town's mining past. Armed and filled with a chilling determination, he ventured into the darkness, his flashlight cutting through the suffocating blackness. The air grew heavy, thick with the stench of funk and the unsettling feeling of being watched. The deeper he descended, the more oppressive the atmosphere became, until finally he emerged into a large cavern, its entrance shrouded in shadows. And there, in the center of the cavern, stood the Night Stalker. He was taller than Freeman had imagined, his eyes two glowing embers in the darkness. For a moment their eyes met, and Detective Freeman felt a surge of primal fear course through him. This was no ordinary man. This was something evil, something truly monstrous. The hunt was over. The final confrontation was about to begin. And there you have it, my friends. 3 chilling true tales that remind us evil is never far away. The shadows conceal countless secrets, and tonight we've only begun to uncover them. If these stories sent shivers down your spine, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon for more hair-raising tales. If you dare, share your own frightening experiences in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and sleep well, if you can.